Hi, lovely people. Hello, hello. Hopefully, I am coming through loud and clear. Hopefully, I am excited to be here in your homes, on your phones. Today has been an interesting day, but come on in the room. Come on in the room. It's a celebrate. It is a celebrate. And so I want to reach out to you guys. I know many of you are probably on your way to Bible study, which is the reason why I went live as fast as I could to make these announcements and hopefully get out of your way. If you don't have an opportunity, maybe you are getting dressed for service tonight, please watch the replay. I wanted to take a and hopefully things are good on your end. I wanted to take a little bit of time to say thank you to each and every one of you. It seems I'm having um, a little bit of difficulty, so you guys bear with me this afternoon or this evening rather. I'm gonna try to go as quickly as possible. I did make some notes, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on in as you guys are coming. Say hello so I know you're there. I see two people so far, but thank you guys so much. I made a quick post on Facebook for those who are friends with me on Facebook. I made a quick post. Today is my 2-year anniversary for my book. Emergence from Grief to Glory. I'm going to go ahead and because I feel like I'm just showing myself, and I really want to get to the main stake, which is to show you guys what I've been up to lately. And I'm really, really excited. Hi, Sean. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for saying hello. Let me stop sharing this. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you. You were one of the ones that was at my book lunch that took place 2 years to the day. And so I want to thank you. I am going to take some time to do that, but I wanted to take a moment to let you guys know what's been happening. I'm going to come back on the screen real quick and I'll go away for a little bit. Um, I want to just really, and bear with me because as they say, it's my party. I can celebrate if I want to. So I am I am very grateful, and this book, Emergence from Grief to Glory, is a how can I put this? It is a labor of love, or was a labor of love. And for those of you who have written books, and you can put that in the chat if you've written a book before, you know that it takes a lot to pour yourself out, to be vulnerable, to show your craft, to not only show your craft, but to also do something that you know God has called you to do. And so, hi, Latasha. Thank you so much for joining. Um, and so I am, it's a really big deal. It's a huge deal to be vulnerable, to share something that you know God has called you and told you to do. And so for me, I am I'm wanting to there's so much on my heart right now. So I'm trying to make sure I don't just have diarrhea at the mouth. But something that I've been reflecting on, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my website. Something that I've been reflecting on all day long. Most of you guys don't know that in the midst of me writing this book, I was going through the most tumultuous time of my life within my career. I have never shared this before. Oh, I'm so glad I pronounced your name correctly. I I was really going through a very, very trying time. And I took time today to reflect this because it was really, 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 really difficult for me. Um, I went through, and I'm not going to go too much into detail, but in the midst of me producing and writing this book, I went through harassment at work. I have never shared this publicly before, but because today is so significant, it being my 2 year anniversary writing this book, I wanted you guys to understand how much of a labor of love this was. And so, in the midst of all of this, in the midst of all of the turmoil that was going on at the job that I was working at, the Lord had already given me an assignment. And so he told me, I want you to write this book. And I placed a post earlier about Apostle Rogers and how he prophesied to me and told me to write this book. And so I was obedient to the Father in the midst of pain. And so I want to share this with you guys because I want you to know that a lot of you guys, God is calling you and has called you to produce in the midst of a storm. Now, I want to share something with you, and I promise I'm not trying to give you a whole Bible study lesson, but the Lord was really speaking to me while I was at work. He took me to Joshua, and I promise I'm going to get out of your way, as they say in church. The Lord took me to Joshua chapter 1. It's a very familiar passage. And as he took me to that passage, he gave me the title for this live. He said, Transition in the Face of or After Death. And most of the time when people talk about the story of Moses and how Joshua takes leadership after the death of Moses, I don't think people really process how this must have looked to take leadership on after you've lost your leader. And what God began to tell me, he said, that's what you did when you took on the assignment to take the mantle after your mom and your dad passed away. That's what Emergence from Grief to Glory is about, is to emerge after death. And so the Lord began to take me through the story of Moses and Joshua, and how courageous Joshua had to be in the midst of death. And so I'm speaking to you that have been dealing with grief, that have been dealing with death, that have lost loved ones or know of people that have loved ones that have lost people that are significant with them. This message is for them. God is inviting you on this journey to transition in the face of death, to take the position of authority in which God has called you. And that's what emergence means. Emergence is a coming forth out of obscurity. What is obscurity? Obscurity is when you've been lost in translation, when you feel as though life has no meaning anymore. You're trying to figure out what is it that God is birthing out of pain. And so God had me draw this diagram, and he told me, he said, LaQuinta, in the story of when I told Joshua to prepare the people to go over Jordan to get to their promised land, the Lord told me, he said, you have the people, the transition, and the promise. And he said that transition represents, for those who are grieving, overcoming or passing over the pain. He said, our Jordan, when it comes to grief, is the pain of the loss. And what I am here to do is to be a representative of the grace of God to emerge. It's not something I wanted to do. It's not something that I desired to do, but it was something that was costly. It was the oil that God placed upon me that I had to reach back and decide that someone else that's been lost at that place of transition from death, and the enemy has tried to keep you at a place to be reminded that, okay, I've lost everything. Maybe you lost a husband, a child, a parent like I did. And God is there to remind you that it's time, or that he wants you to be able to transition, to move from your past, or to move from your pain, or to cross over from pain into triumph. And so the Lord began to tell me, he said that there is an emotional connectivity. A lot of times people teach again about the story of Joshua, but it's no different than if we were to lose our pastor, or if you were to lose your spiritual father or spiritual mother. And that pain of that transition is the reason why the father kept telling Joshua to be strong and to be courageous, because it was going to take tenacity to stand up after death. So you see it in Joshua, where he says, Joshua chapter 1, that when Moses died, then transition took place. And God, the reason why God had to talk to Joshua is because God refuses to let his people be without leadership. And many of you have seen the transition of believers. People are leaving the earth left and right. And that transition, 9 times out of 10, leaves a gap or an opening or a vacancy in the kingdom. And that gap has to be filled. And in order for us to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, we have to emerge. And that's what happened to Joshua, is that even though he was Moses' right-hand man, God began to tell him, you've got to get up out of this grief. You've got to get up out of this pain so that you can lead. And so this is what Emergence from Grief to Glory is about. It's about challenging leaders to come forth out of pain. It's not easy. I'm here to tell you firsthand. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, what does it feel like to have life after my mom and my dad? It was not easy. I went through a grief season of 7 years. 7 years for my mom, 5 years for my dad. It was one of the hardest transitions for me. I've lost my grandmother before, but hey, Erica, hey, sis, and Latasha, I am going to get to your question about the charge for the book. But what I want to say is that loss is painful. And in order to emerge, you have to have the tools to do that. And God has instructed me, mandated me to be a Joshua. That after the death of my parents, to take on leadership, to lead others out of their place of pain into a place of where God gets glory out of your pain. Romans 8:18, which is the primary theme for the book, it says, for the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that's going to be revealed through us. What is that glory? That glory is the manifestation, or the appearance of God's worthiness before the people. And so, in order for us to exemplify or model the glory of God, we've got to go through the transition. I know many of you have lost loved ones, and you know of individuals who have lost loved ones. So I have resources that God has given for me to do. So to answer your question, Latasha, I I have physical books on hand that are $20. But today I am here to tell you about the audiobook because some of us are not readers. Some of us like to listen to books, and so the book now is available on Audible on various platforms. And so I want to share. I'm going to try to get back to sharing. And again, this is not a preaching live, but I wanted to take time to kind of share some of that information as well. So here, for those who go out to my website, you can go to www.emergencefromgrief.com. And when you go out there, Latasha, no, I don't publish books. My husband actually was the one that helped me with my audiobook to get that published and uploaded to Audible and the various ones. So, but to answer your question, no, I don't. But I want to get back to it. Let me try to see if I can. This is my website, and I want to put a shout out to Prophet Jarvis. He's the one that helped me put my website together. When you go to this website, the first 100 people, because it is my 2-year anniversary for my book, I have been blessed to be able to give a Spotify link to my audiobook for the first 100 people. And so I want you, what you'll have to do, or what I need you to do, is go to my website, www.emergencefromgrief.com. Go, and at the bottom of the screen, you'll see an opportunity to place your name, your email address, and then what I want you to type is free Spotify. And when you send that to me, I'll be able to send you the link, respond to you, and get that free Spotify link to you so that you have access to my audiobook for free. Because I really wanted to be a blessing to so many people. Some of you, thank you, Erica. I want to say thank you, Erica. I know you purchased the book. I know that there are other people like Miss Samantha that was actually at my book lunch. I want to take time and say thank you to every one of you that have supported the cause and the calling that God has given for me to do. And so some more exciting news. I'm trying to make sure that I go over everything because I don't want to miss anything. Hopefully y'all are staying in there with me. So I told you about the website. I told you how it all got started. Another thing I want you to do, and I will put those instructions in the comment section. Please join I have a group called Grief Conversations. I have let me stop because a lot of times it can't do two things at one time. I have a group on Facebook for those who are on YouTube watching. You can go to Facebook for those who are Facebook users. Go to Grief Conversations, and I want you to join that. Some of you, I have about 100 of you guys that have joined already. So I want to invite you to do that as well, because there are more things that are going to be housed within that group. More conversations where we're going to have licensed counselors to have conversation with us, Q&A, how to detect signs of depression, how I migrated through it, just different points that I want to discuss in that book. So I want to invite you to be a part of that as well. This Friday, this whole week, or the rest of this week is going to be a whole celebration. This Friday, I have been invited on Clubhouse, and I'm going to put it on my pages so you'll know. I am going to be doing an interview with a friend of mine that has a group in Clubhouse, and I'm going to be doing an interview talking about how grief caused me to feel like an orphan. And so, for those who have not dealt with identity issues after losing your parents, or have dealt with that, you're going to want to tune into that. So this Friday at 6 o'clock, I am going to be going. I'm going to be on Clubhouse. For those who are on Clubhouse, I will be doing an interview there as well. I think I pretty much announced everything that's coming up. I talked about life after my mom and my dad briefly. Told you about the audiobook. And the most important thing, if you take anything away from this entire live, go to my website, www.emergencefromgrief.com, or you can just type in emergencefromgrief.com. And when you type that in, you can scroll to the bottom and send a request to me for the free Spotify link to the audiobook, so that I can be a blessing to as many people as possible. Would you do me one additional thing? Would you please share this live? Because you may not be dealing with grief right now. You may not be dealing with pain from losing someone, but I know that you know people that are. And so it's important to me to get to them. I cannot do it without you. So this is my ask, is that you share this live, share that flyer with them. Let them know that there is a free resource that is out there to help them. I am building a support group, which is why we have the grief conversations. We need to have these conversations in the body of Christ. Grief is not just something you shout over and you move past. It is something that you need to be healed from, and it is okay to have the help and the resources. So I want to go just real briefly through my website because I'm so excited about it, and because I'm so grateful to have it up and running. So I just want to just take a little bit of time and thank you to each and every one of you guys that are out there. I see you, Tiffany. Hi, sis. Um, Thank you for hanging in there with me. Hi, Lashana. Hey, sis. I'm just going over my book and want to say it's my book anniversary. I guess that's the way you say it. But I want to just kind of briefly go through my website. It's going to be really, really quick, and then I will let you go because I know most of us are getting prepared for Bible study, or for us that are in my jurisdiction, we're getting ready for our women's meeting. So, as you can see at the very top, there are many things that you can subscribe to. So, not even just for yourself, you can share this with your pastors. I want to share that with you because, as you can see, there's an opportunity for you to subscribe to the support group. There is a grief masterclass that is coming. Yes. You are going to be able to have the information. There's all of the platforms that my audio book is not just national. So for those, I've had a few people to purchase from the United Kingdom. I have other platforms that I'm using to reach the masses, to reach those who are lost and that are hurting, that need encouragement. So you'll see that on that flyer, as you see above. And so again, I have a master class that's coming. I have a curriculum that I've written that I'm going to be hosting at churches, at prisons. And so, again, there's a lot out there, a lot of resources. It goes into a little bit about me, just my heart for those who are grieving, just to kind of briefly take you through that as well. And here on this page, when you go to my website, that's why I'm kind of sending you there. It tells you all about the pricing, and it also gives you a direct link to the to Amazon so you can purchase. If you want an autograph copy, or you want me to write something or to pray over for someone, I want you to reach out to me via this website so that I can send one to them. I can actually mail it off. Um, Also on this website is the opportunity to, a lot of this is a lot of um the proceeds. I'm not keeping it for myself. I'm actually funneling it into Crown with Beauty for Ashes scholarship fund. So I have a scholarship fund in honor of my mom and my dad, and it's going to be paid forward to a recipient. My mom, for those who don't know, my mom actually passed away a semester before she graduated with her associate degree in education. So that's why you guys see me keep climbing, and I'm going for my PhD now. Because education was something that my mom really, 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 after being married for 45 years, she desired so much to finish school. And she actually passed away the semester that she was supposed to graduate. So again, you could sow into someone else this book. If you don't just sow into it, but or you purchase the book, but you say, hey, Quinta, I want to financially be a blessing to someone else, another student that's lost a loved one, a mother, a daughter, a child. This is a way you can do it. You can just go to this my website, and at the bottom you'll see the ability to donate. And I had the opportunity last year to do a interview with World Trumpet Television, and so you'll hear a little bit more about my story there. So this is just a little bit of stuff that's on the website. And something I want to ask you to do again, as you subscribe to my website, it's a way for me to stay connected. It's a way for me to send you updates when I'm speaking. It's a way to share when I start my master classes, when those master class starts, how you can register. It keeps you in the know. And so for those who have purchased books, like I said, I've mentioned Erica. I know she's purchased a book. There's different ones of you that have purchased the book. I want to highlight you. Thank you for being Emergence from Grief to Glory supporter. And so I want to put you on the wall of fame. So you can send me your photo of you with the book, as you see here. Um, and so that I can, just highlight and share my gratitude with you as well. If you have questions or concerns, some way you want to connect with me, maybe you want me to speak at your church, maybe you want me to share my testimony, or to share a little bit more about my experience through grief. Maybe you want me to do a workshop at your church. Here's how you can contact me. There's the information there at the bottom. There's the email, emergetoglory@gmail.com. If you want to send something personal, maybe someone that is really struggling with grief, and maybe a one-on-one conversation, I'm open to that as well. So I just wanted to make sure that I kind of ran through that really quickly. And thank you guys for indulging me as I go through all of this. But I want to say I love you. Last but certainly not least, thank you, 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 thank you to every person that has purchased a book, that has sent a text, that has shared a link, that has used it. I have many of you that have used my book in counseling sessions. Dr. Miller used my book in one of her counseling sections. I know Dr. Joy Johnson, has used my book and for a lot of her clients. Uh, thank you. Thank you to my pastor, Pastor Jackson. Thank you so much for his support. I want to thank Apostle Ephraim. I want to thank my husband. I want to thank just many of you. I want to thank my family for your support and your prayers and your patience. Many of you guys waited for the audio book to get here. It's here now, and I want to encourage you to go out there. So much so, again, there is 100 free Spotify links that I am giving away. So if you want to know how to help someone that's grieving, if you want to know what to get a coworker that just lost a child, maybe send them a Spotify link. Maybe purchase a book and allow me to minister to them. Because I know that God has given me the grace to do that. I believe I've covered everything. If you have any questions or concerns, you know how to reach me. Again, I will put that information out on the in the chat so you can stay connected. Go subscribe, join the groups, pray for me as I continue to do all that God has called me to do. But I wanted to make sure that I shared this amazing information. And I thank you guys for indulging me as you're on your way, probably to Bible study. Thank you so much for your kindness and being a listening ear. And thank you for your support. Again, this Friday, I will be on Clubhouse. For those who are um, on Clubhouse, you'll hear a little bit more about my story. I tried to keep it a little bit short so that for those who are um, trying to spend uh, your Wednesday evening a different way. Thank you for your time. And I love you guys. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday for prayer. All right. Until next time, God bless.